you're going to the bathroom, turn your camera off. If for some reason you're just doing something, I don't know, whatever you may be doing, look here, but we want you to be mindful if your camera's on, but we do want to see you, spotlight and just see your beautiful faces. Also, on behalf of the entire company, we are praying for those individuals that are in the midst of snowstorms right now and tuning in. We are praying for all of you that are in those inclement types of weathers. And so, with that said, you are in store for a wonderful power pack training this morning. It isn't about the hype, it's about the strategy. And I'm Jermaine Johnson. And the last thing I want to tell you here before I introduce our first speaker is that I'm going to encourage you as we begin. Show up this morning with a posture of expectancy. Get ready to receive your answer. Get ready to receive your key to your combination, because Chrissy's going to say something that's going to take your combination 2 to the right. Abby's going to say something that's going to take you 20 to the left. Tracy's going to say something. Brianna, Jen, all the wonderful trainers, Chris, Kim, and everybody that Leah, they're going to say something. And look, it's going to unlock. You're going to get your answers here, but you got to expect it, right? Be ready to receive it. So with that said, let me introduce the wonderful Shiro that's going to kick it off. Look here. She is from Edmonton, Alberta. Canada, y'all know Canada. Look, all of my Canadians, look, just put a 1 in the chat if you're here from Canada. This wonderful superstar, 23 years full-time network marketing. Let me say that again. 23 years full-time. She's built 3 businesses to the top rank in this industry, belly to belly, guys. She gets out there face to face, building those relationships. The last 9 years, pay attention to this, guys. This is where I start. Hey, hi,
love you. Don't forget you need to get in this raffle.
Yes, you do need to get in this raffle, girl. Yes, whoever you are, love you. Look here. See, y'all messed up my introduction, but we're family here. Look here. The last 9 years, this wonderful human being, this superhuman being, while healing from aggressive cancer, has been building this business, has hit the top level of director with Ramon, guys, and also a mama too. I think if you were to look in the dictionary for perseverance, you would find her picture. If you would look in the thesaurus for no excuses, there would be a picture of her. And then if you were to open up the encyclopedia and just look under superhuman being or super Shiro, you would find her. I need you to put some hearts in the chat. Welcome your first speaker of the day, Miss Leah Lavoie. Is she there?
For me, that was impressive. Oh my gosh, Jermaine, I absolutely love you. I had the opportunity to spend some time in the Remon village with this incredible human being, Jermaine. And I tell you, all action. And yeah, thank you so much. That was amazing. I just love working with you guys. Can everyone hear me okay? I hear a little bit of background, just want to make sure. Okay, perfect. So we're good to go. I got some hearts. So I have built, you've heard my story. I do not need to introduce myself after that. And I built my business on a belly-to-belly business, and I have continued to do that. And the truth is, I know some of you might be here going, I just want to do social media. Crazy. Don't want you to shut it down, okay? I want you to pay attention here, because I get the idea of building through social media and making money from your phone, sitting on your couch, sitting on a hot pad with a nice comfy towel, comfy blanket. I get that. However, what I have found is, for me, if I did it social media, I would be broke. I would be homeless. I would be, there's no way I'd be paying my bills as social media. And a lot of people, unless we build up that influence and that trust in that space, having many followers and building up how to do content, the whole thing, trust me, I've done 100 reels in 100 days and I have made nothing. Not to say, because Lori's going to be on this share you from how to do social media. Not to say I'm learning and I've gotten from hating social media and doing reels to enjoying it and having kind of fun with it. So that is a growth for me, and that's the same growth you're going to have doing a belly to belly business. What I find with a belly to belly business for me is I get results now. So doing 4,000 SP, I don't like to leave money on the table. I'm like, I get an extra 5% on my customers. That's amazing. I'm in. So once you start building repeat customers and that continues to grow, you know, hitting 2,000 on repeat customers SP is something it eventually grows to if you have a good follow-up. Okay, so we're going to talk about that today, so stay tuned. But here's the thing that I get businesses, I get orders like crazy from just doing, even if I just do 2 pop-ups in a month. Of course, we could do 2 pop-ups in a week. Just think about that would be. On average, my pop-ups with Remon, and I've been doing this for 23 years, are ridiculously high. You're looking at $1,000 average for a pop-up with anywhere from 3 to 8 people. I've had $2,500 pop. How many of you would want to go out for 3 hours, have fun, because you have fun, let the products do all the heavy lifting, and have a $2,500 pop-up? Put me in the comments. Like, that's a big deal. Okay, now I want you to think about this. You teach this skill to your team. How many of you would like 10 planners going out and doing pop-ups and hitting 4,000 a month every single month, happy with their paychecks, happy with the connections, happy with the relationships they're building and all the things that come from that? Put yes in the comment. This is what you want. Just think about what this can do for you. So I take the pop-up business very, very seriously, and the sit-down business. So I'm not just blowing smoke. This is what I do. Okay. I just had someone sit in the other day, and she is a planner with us today. I did a pop-up on the weekend, and this could be pop-ups for your planners. This could be pop-ups for, you know, hosts, because there is a definition to be somebody, to me, somebody who wants to do the business and share products to make money, to follow up with their customers and do the business. There is business stuff when you do a business, as opposed to somebody who wants to do, not interested in doing the follow-up, not interested in doing any of the work. To me, that's a customer. They don't want a business. They just want to shop at my store and tell everybody else they're shopping at my store. That's great. That's good too. We get highly compensated for both. So with knowing the difference, you got your hosts, your people who want to host the show. So let's talk about, I do have a slideshow that I want to go through here. So I'm going to share my screen, and I am on a time limit, and you're going to have to give me, like, I should look at my watch. I'm at 10:10, so not sure when I started. Okay, so let's do share. And sorry guys, I don't know why I'm the sloppiest person from going uh from going to share screen through what's called a PowerPoint. Okay, so here we go. Continue to share. Can you guys see my screen? Everybody see my screen? Okay, so what happens at a Papa's is you build instant trust in the products and you. The products do all the heavy lifting. Okay, you get 3 to 8 people to try out one time. You get higher sales per customers and new planners. That is the biggest thing, is to build trust. On social media, our content, we're building trust in who we are and what we do. And it takes time. And, you know, my experience with social media, you know, as I'm a beginner social media person, you know, doing social media all the time, but really learning how to do it. And I had to pay for a course, and that was expensive, and all of the things. So I realized this is my paycheck for tomorrow. For me, for some of you, this is your paycheck for today, and that's great. For me, it doesn't work. And if you're like me and you're like, okay, money isn't coming in, what do we do? Bills need to be paid, okay? The products truly do all the heavy lifting. They're just so good. So if you are using the products, how many of you are using the products every single day in your home, right? If you are using the products, you can put products on people. Do you agree? If you agree, put agree in the comments. Like you can show someone how to do the products. They, even if you know nothing, this is one of the only businesses and products that you could be mute and say nothing and put products on skin and they buy products. It is so good. You get higher sales per customers and new planners. So with that being said, I don't want you overthinkers overthinking this and having to create this perfect script and this perfect everything. But I'm going to give you some tips. So host your own or get people to host. People are going to host for top reasons. Number one is to have fun and have an experience. I should put have fun and have an experience. Is Rima not an experience? Like, don't you get an experience every time you're using these products, right? So tell me if Remon is an experience. Comment below a heart if Remon is an experience. Number two is to help someone. If you are new in your business, I'm telling you, you've been in the business for a year. If I've even been in the business for 2 years, I'm still saying I'm new. Or I can say I'm looking to expand in your area, or I want to expand in, like, my business is growing globally and I would love to expand in my area. These are things people want to help someone. That is the number two reason why people will introduce you to your friends so you can give them an experience and have fun to learn something. Okay. They want to learn something. Do we not learn something when we're sharing them Korean skincare? And the people are after this. They're looking for this. Now you can give them, you can give them this experience. You can't do this at Shoppers Drug Mart, right? And these are actually tips that I say in my presentation. I say, invite some friends over for experience. You can't get this experience at Sephora. You know what? You can't get this experience at the place with you gathering and having a wonderful time together and getting a DIY facial and having this wonderful experience and to get something. So I always like my hostess and give her a gift, and it doesn't have to be as a whole lot, but it costs some, because if I'm going to generate $1,000 show with 4 or 5 new customers, that is, and they repeat order, is it not worth investing 10%, 20% of my commissions, maybe even half, if I have to invest half of my commissions to that, it is worth it. So find out what your pay structure, get locked into the 30%, or maybe you even have to, I'm not saying this, but sometimes in business, we have to build a business, and most businesses don't even make commissions after the first 5 years. Okay. In Remon, you do. So if for the first 3 months you have to, donate a little bit, and I would actually, the first 3 months, you could, you know what, I'm new, help me out. Okay. So, and I'm excited. So prepare your hostess coach. She and yourself have to be excited. Coach her. You can coach her. Is she excited? Has she tried the products? You know what? That's the other thing. Has she caught your excitement? Excite is contagious. Do you feel the energy on this call already? Maybe you started this call and your energy was a little low. Jermaine opened up with such incredible energy and he fed his energy to me. So I'm like super lit up right now. So it's contagious. So remember that. Goal set your hostess and tell her my best shows. I can have great presentations for just 3 people. But where it all gets exciting is when you have 6 to 8 people. Give her an invitation to invite, but tell her the voice invitate, like actually verbally inviting them is always the best, whether that's a voice message and just saying you were thinking of them. You've been introduced into this incredible Korean skincare that you were able to try and were absolutely blown away, and you want to give them that experience at your home. Give your hostess the words. Follow up leading up to the shows. That's the other thing that people miss. Now you book your show. I like to book a show within a week. They're excited. It's like watching a TV show. If you wait 3 weeks to tell somebody about it, or a movie, you've lost it. You don't even know who the characters. You don't even remember what you watched. So I like to book shows within a week. Okay, and so their excitement, and if it's booked 3 weeks out, you gotta make sure you are on her and you're following and you're excited and you're like, oh, it's coming up. Have you gotten the invitations out? Have you remember, and remind them, remember voice text is the way to do it so that but you have actually presentations to go to. So keep in mind, booking close is a lot less work for you and you get better results. And most people don't know what they're doing in 3 weeks. So yeah. So now it's showtime. You want to bring your products, bring mirrors, expandable cloths, bowls, brochures. I am a big believer on these amazing brochures. I give one to each person. It has a label on it with my information. And as we go through the products of a facial, they actually follow along here. And I tell them they can keep this and then they can put this on their mirror afterwards. And they love this. And it has my information on the brochure. Okay. Order forms. You want to learn how to close? You pass out real order forms. I don't get people to take out their phones. I find it's messy. I find it's complicated. People can write, they can fill out, and we do an old-fashioned order form, and then I physically put in each order when I get home or the next day. That is what I do, okay? Because order forms are an easy way to close people. And then you can have tickets for fun draws or different things. So I just kind of threw that in there. The number one thing for doing a show is smile. That's it. Be friendly, and you mingle with your people before you get started the presentation as people come in. But when you get started, explain how the night is going to go. Okay, so that's what I do. I tell them, I said, hi, my name's Leah. You know what? I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to introduce Remon, and what's so special about them. They're top the Korean brand. We're going to have a facial. We're going to be able to try all these amazing top Korean products. I'm going to share what I do as a business, and then we're going to do a draw and have some free gifts. Does that sound like fun? That's it. Okay, then I get in to introduce myself. Keep it short and simple, 60 seconds. Okay, practice it. It's kind of how you were introduced to Remon, why you decided to, what problem did it solve, why you decided to get started, what is your goal, what problem is it solving, that income. You started for a reason. Keep it, that is what we drop seeds throughout the presentation. So seed, that's a seed on the business right there without verbally like telling them to join my team. That is crunchy at a presentation. I like to make it to flow. Okay. So why Raymond, top Korean brands, they did 2.5. You don't want to forget that $1 billion or million 2.5, yeah, billion in sales in the first 5 years, three main patents, great for sensitive skin, holistic and gentle focuses, and they have four categories. Okay. And we're going to talk about the main one. And you can have this few simple jokes that are the same. And our number one that we're going to do our facial with is our Incel Derm line. That's our number one brand. Why? Because nobody wants to wake up. No one gets excited about having an extra wrinkle. Ha 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 ha, laugh, right? You guys know, right? You can steal jokes from anybody and everyone. It makes it fun. Thank host when you also want to thank host for having this show, and you want her to introduce her favorite product. So at some point, you definitely want to have her to share. Okay, you want to ask questions before you get started, like who has sensitive skin, who has heard of Korean beauty already, and like, yeah, it's going viral right now because people are finally learning about this. Who has a skin routine already, and take before pictures after they do the cleanse if they are wearing makeup. Okay. And then you want to make with their own camera. Not with my camera, with their own camera. Okay. So, and then take after pictures about half hour or like after they do use the products, which is usually about when we're kind of finished and taking orders and all that stuff. Okay. So wash faces. Yeah, that's what we're doing in our bowls, and we do it at home. Know 2 to 3 things about every product. Don't go overboard. Don't overload. Keep it light and simple. You don't need to be a scientist. That is not your job. Do not ask them after certain steps how their skin feels. I love this because it's experience. It takes me back because I remembered when I used, the cleanser for the first time. I was like, oh my gosh. Double cleansed. I was like, I've never had skin feel so clean. Like I feels airy. I share that story. I said, I know when I try, how do you guys feel that? So I share stories, okay? Because facts tell, stories sell. So kind of sharing experiences. Oh my gosh, and this is what I've got. These are the results I got from just people doing cleanses, often this is, you share stories of what has happened with these products. When you do this, I did 100 reels in 90 days. When you start doing a lot of these, you're going to have lots of stories, amazing stories that you can share with people. Okay. But you can even borrow stories that you hear from these amazing calls that we do. Close, share why Remon is a business, be brief, but be to the point. Say captivating things. How many of you could use $1,000 into your home right now? I know sometimes that is the change your life business there. It is so easy to do that inside of Remon. I said these products are so good and we have the most incredible system. You just have the experience. And oh, I didn't put on here, you need before and after pictures. I personally like to have them printed out. I went to Staples, I got them printed, I pass it around. I pass around my stepdad with his hair grown back. I pass around my best friend and how she used to use medical grade and Botox and now the difference with Remon. I pass around, of course, my picture. Everybody needs that picture. I pass around people that I know and I tell the stories. That's actually something I do. I do a few of them before we even start using the products because it gets them excited about using the products. Okay. So I forgot to put that on my slides. So important to have a testimonial book. Okay, share why Remon, keep it brief, like $1,000. It's easy. You saw what I do. Some people build just solely on social media. Some people do pop-ups. Some people do trade shows. I said, whatever it is, this is expanded. People are looking for Korean skincare, and Remon is the #1 brand. So the timing could be perfect. We're launching into 55 different countries in the next 5 years. And ask me later, I can give you some information and we can go from there if this is something that might hit home to you. Keep it so simple. I don't go through anything more. Do draws, okay? I like a getting to know you form. So I do have something that I have where they fill their personal information. They rate, today's event, how products felt on the skin. Did they have fun? Would they be likely to have their own pop-up? And would you like to build your own business? So I do have a little form. What interested them most is skin, hair, body, all the stuff, because I love this because a lot of people sometimes have to leave quickly afterwards. And I actually use this form for a draw. And the draw is to something fun. It could be a headband. It could be, it doesn't have to be Remon. Okay. So you can keep it simple. So that is my presentation. Have some fun, pass out order forms. And just enjoy the people, and you're going to have fun with this, and you're going to see results. This is going to be my favorite part of my business is sharing Remon through groups and the results and being excited. So go out there, ask people, be brave, and share Remon. And that's it. Now, I do have our next speaker coming up, who is absolutely incredible. I couldn't believe her credentials. And her name is Jen, and she's been in the business for 14 years, spending 12 years of the #2 leader at our first company. She earned 20 incentive trips. How many of you would love to earn lots of incentive trips, right? And a Porsche in the industry. Like this is big. And she's got a heart of gold. I've watched her on so many trainings. She is the most incredible trainer. And I am so excited to introduce my friend Jen to today so you can get some value from her. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, Leah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. I always make this joke, but I paid her to say that, right? Leah, thank you. That was incredible. I loved your presentation. And girl, I got to give you a shout out to the order form. Can I get some snaps for the order form? I'm sorry. If anyone contacts me from the team and says, I did a pop-up and no one ordered, I always say, really, what happened when you handed them the order form? That's when I know that they didn't give an order form because you guys, it is like a social contract. Anyway, that is a whole separate training. But Leah, that was amazing. Did y'all get so much value out of that training? Can you please give her so many hearts and so much love? And I loved also that you said to just know 2 to 3 things about a product, like less is more. You don't want to go in there being this big expert because then people look at you and they're like, oh, I could never do what Leah does. Leah knows everything and I couldn't learn all that. I'm not an esthetician. Don't know a lot. Just go in there, like, hey, this works great. I know a couple of facts. And then the other thing I loved is the jokes. You got to make the jokes. So I'm gonna share y'all one of my jokes that I use every single pop-up. I introduce myself and I say, how I love the skincare. It's changed my skin. I'm 82 years old. And then I pause for a second and they realize, and everybody, it always gets a laugh. So add in some crazy age for yourself and that will get the laugh. But Leah, again, thank you, thank you. All right. So I'm going to talk to you today about something that happens after the pop-up. And it doesn't really, I feel like it doesn't get a lot of attention. And for me, it's one of the biggest reasons that I've been able to keep a stable business for so long. And it's customer care. And not in a fluffy, nebulous way, like check in with your customers. It's like a real income producing system. And I'm going to teach it to you today. It's called the 1-2-2 method. So write that down, 1-2-2 method. Because what actually matters is not the first order. It's the lifetime value of the customer. Because most people are really focused on the next sale. But one customer, and by next sale, I mean getting a new sale from somewhere. But one customer who's cared for properly for years can remain very, very loyal. They'll refer friends, they'll host events for you, and they'll stay loyal even when the market gets crowded. Because right now, we have kind of an advantage, right? There aren't a whole ton of Remon reps yet here in the US, but that is coming. And before you know it, let us know in the chat if you have a Remon rep who's not on your team that lives in your town or that lives a couple towns over, because nothing got me more committed to customer care than having a new rep come in the next town over, and all of a sudden we have like 100 mutual friends and I'm sweating, right? So please learn from my experience, and please maintain great relationships with your customers. At my last company, I was there for 12 years. And by the end of it, I was consistently getting 8,000 a month in reorders. So what would 8,000 a month in reorders look like for you? And I got to tell you, it was skincare, but it wasn't good skincare. It wasn't skincare that gave results. It was clean skincare, but it didn't do anything for your face. Like, we have the number one skincare that changes faces. So that number for you over years is going to be much higher than it was for me. So let's talk a little bit again about customer care. And I'm going to give you a comparison that we all understand. You can buy Korean skincare online. You can go to Sephora online and you can buy subpar Korean skincare. So it probably doesn't work very well. It probably wasn't made in Korea. It's probably some Americanized version. And you check out, and then what happens? Does anybody from Sephora contact you to thank you for your order? I mean, maybe they send you an order confirmation. Thanks for your order. You're not going to hear from them again, right? That's it. No one follows up. No one checks to make sure your box arrived, that the products were all in there, that maybe, was the box damaged? Nobody asks if you're using the products correctly. I mean, we have a huge opportunity with what we do because we have a system. So we get to teach people that system. And as we teach that system, we are setting ourselves up as the expert, as their consultant. We are their representative, and they're looking to us for help and for information. So Sephora online sells you a product and they move on. So what we do is very, very different. And that relationship that we're building that keeps people coming back, that is really what people are kind of buying, right? They're buying you because they can get skincare anywhere. Yes, our skincare is incredible. And yes, it's the best, but they're buying you. So they want to get a little bit of you. And this is where the 1-2-2 follow-up method comes in. And this is the backbone of how I take care of my customers. So 1 stands for day 1. Okay, write that down. The first touch, the first time you're going to reach out to somebody is 1 day after they place the order. Now, you can also do it the same day. It is the first touch, very, very fast. This is before the box even arrives. And you might be thinking, well, why would you reach out to them before the box even gets there? It's to, again, build that relationship and to recognize them. I see you. You placed an order from me. You spent money with me. That is very meaningful to me, and I am appreciative. Now, I call people. I'm crazy old-fashioned. You can send voice memos and you can send texts. I pick up the phone because for me, like Leah said, if I had to survive on social media, I'd be broke. That's my customers are people that I know for the most part. So I do call and I say thank you. And I let them know that I appreciate their trust, that I'm excited for them. And I also tell them a little bit about what they ordered. Now, sometimes they order before speaking to me, right? So maybe maybe they get the oil cleanser, but they don't get the snow enzyme. And you don't want to have oil residue on your face. You want to get this stuff off. So I tell them the system that I use, I tell them the steps, and we talk through what they purchased. Sometimes we need to add a few extra items to what they purchased. If I have them on hand and they're local, I'll bring it over. They can Venmo me. Sometimes we can catch an order. Your team leader can go through customer service and say, oh my gosh, can you add these items to the order? They usually can if it's within 1 day. That's why we're getting in touch fast. And you would not believe how many people add items to that very first time that I reach out. So also during the first touch is when I say to them, take a before picture, and I explain what that before picture looks like. It's going to be their face facing a window with the light coming in. Whatever time you take the before picture facing that window, you're going to take the after picture. I tell them to take the before picture with no skincare. So if wash with whatever cleanser you use, have the neutral expression, take the photo. The after picture is going to be the first after picture will be 5 days after using Remon, and that's your first comparison. And again, same window, same time of day, same neutral expression. So the before picture automatically creates the expectation in their mind that there's going to be an after picture, right? That plants the belief that this is going to work. Okay. So the second touch is 2 weeks later. So, and ask your questions in the chat, by the way, and I'll come after this is over, I'll circle back to the chat and I will answer the questions there. So please ask questions there. So the second touch is 2 weeks later. So that's the first 2 of the 1-2-2. And this is where I check, did the box arrive safely? Was anything damaged, right? Not usually, but it's good to know. And most importantly, have they actually taken the products out of the box and started using them? So my son just walked in. His piano teacher is a customer of Remon, and he had been going there, a couple times. He goes every week. And he said, that box is still sitting in her hallway. The box is still sitting. He kept reporting back to me that she hadn't used the products yet. She's actually not my customer. So no shame to the person who works with her, but she hadn't used them yet. So people intend to start and then they don't. So this 2-week call saves customers who maybe would have quietly fallen off, who wouldn't have taken the products out of the box for maybe even months, right? So you just want to check in, and then they'll have questions about the system. If they have used the products, maybe they're going through a purge. I checked in with my friend Noreen. It was about 2 weeks. I said, hey, how are you doing with it? And she's like, oh my gosh, my skin is sticky and it's itchy. And so I stopped using it. I'm obviously allergic to it. And I said, oh my gosh, Doreen, I was the same way. My skin was itchy and I thought I was allergic to it. I didn't know. And she didn't know until I told her that that is part of the skin cell renewal cycle, that as we speed that up faster, we might get pimples, redness, itching, tingling, a tight feeling, right? That is a classic skin cell renewal side effect. So I told her, I said, oh my gosh, no, just push through, right? So when I called her on the other follow-up that I'm about to talk about, she had been using it consistently. But if I hadn't called her at that 2-week mark, she would have been done. Maybe she would have given it to her neighbor or her sister-in-law and just said, I'm allergic. Okay. So actually, before I get into the last follow-up, another good thing that comes from reaching out to people that you probably don't even think about is your customers are your best source of pop-ups, right? So when someone loves their products, they want to share them with other people. They want their friends and family to experience what they're experiencing. So when I'm talking to someone at week 2, this is where I will say something like, if you ever want to do something for your friends and family so that they can experience the products, I can come over and give everyone a free mini facial and introduce them to the products. Very low pressure, very simple, very fun. And when somebody hosts, I always give them a little hostess gift, maybe like the double cleanse method, or, if you're just getting started, go to the dollar store and buy those cute little compact makeup mirrors, the ones that they're kind of like this, and you open it up and it's got the compact. I mean, this is a great little present, and it's like $1. So just has to be thoughtful. And then while I'm at the party, and I think Leah mentioned this as well, I ask everybody the same question. Would you like to do a little something like this for your friends and family? It's called BAP FAP. Has anyone ever heard of that? BAP FAP? BAPFAP. Book a party from a party. So when you are in your parties, from now on, forever and ever moving forward, I want you to think of me, and I want you to walk into that party going, BAP FAP, BAP FAP. I'm going to book a party from a party. So it works because people are relaxed. They're experiencing the products. They're excited. So definitely, definitely do the BAP FAP. Okay, another thing to keep in mind in terms of the customer care, as I mentioned, there might not be a lot of representatives, but at some point, your customer's sister-in-law is going to join the business under somebody else. I've been in this industry for many, many years. It happens all the time. Or a coworker, her coworker is going to join her best friend from college, right? When that happens, customers are usually going to buy from the person that they feel the most connected to, unless you've given them a real reason to stay with you. You want your customers to know you are their consultant. You are their go-to person. You are the one that actually cares about what happens to them. So the loyalty that we're looking for doesn't happen without intentional follow-up. And another big piece of this with loyal customers are referrals. I got a text yesterday. Hi, this is Liz, and my friend Sue Ann said I should reach out to you because I want my skin to look like Sue Ann's. Referrals are huge. I let people know right off the bat during one of these follow-up calls that I appreciate referrals and I reward referrals. So I will always do a small thank you gift. For me, it's usually a snow enzyme cleanser, but you need to do what your business can support. But this is a business. Make no mistake. Leah said sometimes with a business, you're not breaking even for 5 years. We are usually breaking even a heck of a lot faster, but sometimes you need to spend a little money to make a little money. And if somebody thinks they're going to get a present when they do a referral, they're far more likely to do a referral. It could be free shipping. You Venmo them next time for the shipping. It could be a discount on their next order. Maybe you pay them back. I always do a rebate because it's not as easy to do a discount. So I always do a rebate via Venmo or PayPal, something simple. But people love to help people, if you have taken care of them. Okay, so here's the bottom line. And I didn't mention, I'm so sorry, I didn't even get to I'm looking at my notes. I'm like, I didn't even get to the 2-month follow-up, right? So the 2-month follow-up, unless I did and I'm losing my mind, is where you're checking in to see how the products are going, right? So at that point, they're running out. Month two, I call it dialing for dollars. This is where you're checking in to see how's it going. I mean, people are almost really at the end of the ICD cream at the 2 month period. So at the very least, you're going to get an order for the ICD cream. And it's just a little reminder to order. And then I always talk about other products like, oh my gosh, if you love the skincare, you wait till you try our hair care. I did a 2 month call with my friend Heather the other day, and she's like, Jen, my skin is not tight like yours. I'm experiencing sagging. And I said, well, we can get you into the professional grade line, but what I think might really help is getting you some collagen ampules and start out initially drinking it 2 times a day. Now, I know that that's what they do in South Korea, and it's not cheap. So you probably don't want to do it all the time, but just to get yourself a little boost for a couple of weeks, do it 2 times a day. And that was the tip. And she bought that product. She also bought the calming balance gel. And that was the 2 month call. So that's the dialing for dollars. Okay. So, in summary, keep the relationships tight, follow up, let people know you appreciate them, do the 1-2-2 method, because people don't leave products, they leave when they feel forgotten, when they feel like maybe the relationship is more transactional. Customer care is going to keep customers around so much longer. It's going to increase reorders, it's going to increase referrals, and it's going to increase pop-ups. It protects our income as the remon market grows, and this is how you build a business that lasts. So thank you, everyone. That is my deal on customer service and follow up. So now I want to turn it over to my friend Lori Aldis. Lori got on the call this morning. We met a little bit early, and she said, oh my gosh, the grandkids. She was up late and all night with the grandkids. Lori's grandkids are her life. And does she even look like a grandmother, by the way? Don't y'all wish your grandmother was that cool and beautiful and youthful looking? I mean, come on. So she is an incredible, incredible wife, mother, grandmother, and social media influencer. So Lori's the type of person that I look at and I say, oh my gosh, I could never do this business. I'm not like her. She's incredible on social media. She's got all these followers. Well, something I learned about Lori is this. She started with no followers. She started with nothing. And at the age of 49, she decided, I'm going on social media and I'm going to give this a go. And if y'all go over to her Instagram and you see what's going on over there, you'll be like, holy cow, girl, it sure worked for you. It just exploded over there, and she's so fun to follow. Lori, thank you for being on. Thank you for being such an inspiration to me and to so many people in this community. And we're super excited to hear from you. Take it away, my friend.
Oh my gosh, Jen, my mind is blown with what you just did. I can tell you that this is a missing piece for so many people. And what you just broke it down into being so simple is going to change people's businesses. So, I mean, just just the BAPFAF, I'm just like, why am I not like focusing in on that more when I'm doing these pop-ups? And I don't do a ton of pop-ups, but I'll tell you, my daughter, who joined me in the business, she doesn't want to do social media. So she just wants to do classes. So guess what I'm doing? I'm doing classes with my daughter. So I'm learning this new way of doing the business. And it's so valuable. And what you just did with follow-up, I mean, I'm going to have to go back and replay that one a few times because it's so good. Jen, you are brilliant. And I think people are so lucky that they were able to like just get a taste of what you train and how you run your business. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Huge, huge wins. Okay, you guys, drop a number 2 in the comments if you're already blown away with just the first 2 speakers, because I feel like I mean, this is like a mind-blowing training, right? You're getting value from so many people. So I want to talk to you a little bit about social media. And Jen is right. I started with nothing. I didn't have an Instagram. I don't even think TikTok was around. I barely did Facebook. And when I jumped in, I want you to know, I didn't just do social media when I jumped in. I was belly to belly I was connecting with people. I was showing up at events. I was doing all the things that you've already been hearing about while I was dripping into social media, while I was learning social media. And I think that's the magic that happens, because if somebody comes in and thinks that they're going to post a video and they're going to get 100 comments and people are just going to buy, they're going to get discouraged really, really quick on social media. So I want to break it down so you don't make some of the mistakes that I made in the beginning, because it's really easy to be discouraged on social media in the beginning. And I have to tell you, this is really about the long game. Social media is not a quick get rich, here we go. It's not that. If you think it is, you're going to be disappointed. So keep in mind, we want to think long game. I have notes here because I'm going to try and like bust through. This is like fire hose, right? Okay, so first of all, I want to simplify your social media, because I think so many people struggle with social media because they overcomplicate it. And again, I said yesterday, social media can get really noisy, right? We're scrolling, we're comparing ourselves, we're seeing that somebody's doing this, we're seeing somebody got good results from that. And it gets really confusing. And what happens when we become confused or when we're listening to all that noise? We retreat. We don't show up. This right here is the biggest reason why people quit social media. Okay. So, I want you to know that this isn't a motivation issue when this happens, right? This is a systems issue. So I want to break it into a really nice, simple system. But first of all, again, in the beginning, I overcomplicated everything. I thought I needed to know everything before I even started. I will tell you, YouTube was my best friend. I lived on YouTube. Okay. Everything on social media is figure outable. You can learn everything you need to. So just like, I mean, there's so much. There's so many great influencers that you can follow that teach you all the things on social media as well. But again, don't get caught up in that, because I'm going to create this three-step system for you that is going to simplify it. Okay. Okay. So first off, I want to go through why we overcomplicate a few things. Okay. So on social media, there's usually three reasons that we overcomplicate. Number one is we're trying to teach everything all at once. I did this so wrong in the beginning, you guys. I was teaching makeup and it was a little bit more complicated. And I thought every video I did, I needed to teach every little detail. Guess how long my videos were? Way too long. Way too long. Okay. So this is the first thing that we do. We overcomplicate it. We think we need to teach everything every time we do a video. We explain too much. Again, Jen touched on this. Leah touched on this. You think you need to know every detail about every product to teach about it. I'm telling you, that is your biggest mistake. Do not do that. Okay. You don't need to do that. You're going to learn as you earn, right? You're going to learn more things every time I listen to Angie, I learned something new about a product. Okay, so just keep doing these basic things. Okay, so one thing that happens when you start to do all of that is you're actually missing out on solving the person's problem. Okay, now yesterday on my Zoom, I said, I want you guys to take 10 minutes today and I want you to write down every problem that that person on the other side of the screen has. So for me, I work with women over 50 most of the time. And so I sat down and I do this regularly. This isn't just a one and done. I do this regularly. When I go to make content, I go back to my list and I say, what problems are my people having? And then I make content to solve that problem. That automatically should remove some overwhelm. Okay. So the other thing is that people, if you're bouncing all over trying to teach all of these different steps in the skincare system, right? They don't know what to focus on. So guess what they do? They're like, I'm out. Like, that's just too much. I can't do it. Okay. So keep that in mind. The simpler you keep it, the clearer you keep the message, the more results you're going to see from that. The second reason that we overcomplicate is a lot of posts that sound informative, right? You're like, this is a golden post. This is gonna, like, people are gonna comment, they're gonna respond. But they don't lead anywhere. Do you want to know why? Because you actually didn't tell them what to do next. The clarity that you need to have when you make a post, need to give them the next step. Just like Jen was saying, the next step. Just like Leah was saying, the next step. Okay. With social media, it's even more important because people are distracted. They're just scrolling, right? And if you're not giving them the next step, they're just like, okay, I'm just going to go to the next video and be entertained. Okay. So please keep that in mind. You have to tell them what to do. You have to tell them, the next step so that they know exactly what to do. And so information without an invitation creates zero momentum for you in the business. Okay. The third reason that we overcomplicate is that most people hit post not knowing what that post is meant to do. Think about that for a minute. If you're like just posting something, but you don't know what the purpose of that post is, do you think the person watching it is going to know what the post was about? They're not. Okay. You have to be so clear. So for me, when I'm posting different things, when I sit down to do my content for the week or whatever, because I don't do content every day, okay? That's just not going to happen. I batch produce stuff. I'll sit down for a day, and I'm sorry, I don't even change my shirt when I do multiple videos. If you go back, you'll be like, "Oh, she's still in that green sweatshirt. She's been in that for 2 weeks now." It's not, I just have created everything at once and I was too lazy to change my shirt. Okay. So change your shirt in between if you remember. But it's fine, right? We're simplifying. If it's too complicated to change your shirt, don't change your shirt. Just make the content. All right. So when I post something, I'm like, what do I want this to do? I want this to start a conversation with them. I want them to feel seen. I want them to feel heard. I want them to go, geez, I never thought about my under eye bags, that there was something that I could do for them. Okay. So think about what you're creating that for, and you're building trust with them by doing this. Okay. All right. I'm moving through. So again, if you keep things simple, your posts are going to feel lighter. You're going to stop overthinking things. So guess what that means? You're going to actually show up consistently. Okay. Because I'll tell you, one of the most important things, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, is consistency on social media and the difference between somebody that's consistent and somebody that just does one every once in a while. Okay. So let's get into some of the IG basics, because this is where I really wanted to focus in. But I want to say that Instagram is not your business, or TikTok or Facebook. It's not your business. It's actually just the front door. You're just opening that door up for people. Okay. So your job on Instagram should be really, really easy. You just have to be visible. You have to show up. You have to be you. Don't pretend to be somebody else like I did for the first 2 years in my journey on social media. I thought I needed to be this younger, prettier blonde girl. I'm like, she's successful. I got to do what she does. No, you just need to be you. And then you have to be really good in inviting people to the next step. Okay. That's it. That's it. You don't have to convert people. You don't have to overpromise, oversell. You just need to connect with the right people. Okay. So this is how we do it. Again, we're not overcomplicating things. I'm just gonna teach you this 3-step. Okay. Step number 1. This is number 1 for your system or your funnel, whatever you want to call it, is your content. Your content is meant to start the conversation. Okay. Think of that. Content is meant to start the conversation. It could be a reel. It could be a story. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can be in the same green sweatshirt every time you do the video. Okay. That doesn't matter. Okay. I want to say the ones so when I make content, I'm thinking, okay, what do I need? I feel like I haven't had as much conversations in my DMs. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to create something that brings in new followers. Something that gets people to ask more questions. Okay. A 5 to 9 second reel is going to capture those new people. Okay. So think about your followers in a couple of ways. You're going to bring new people in with this short video. Then the people that are already following you, give them a 90-second reel, something that teaches them about the double cleanse, something that teaches them about why using the balm stick under the eye is magic. Okay. Give them a little bit more. So you're taking care of new people, then you're also taking care of people that follow you. And then you're going to do live video for really great interaction where people can ask you questions. I remember when I very first started to do really well on social media, I did a live video every Thursday at 4 o'clock. Like that was what I did. I would say, what do you guys want to see? I would get people engaged and excited. They would come on, they would ask all their questions. So think about doing that. Okay. The second part of your funnel or your system is your call to action. This is your invitation. Okay. So this is something you may see some of us do something like comment this word, like message me, send me a DM. Okay. But if you're not telling people what to do, I promise you they won't do it. If you're trying to gain followers, guess what you're going to say? Follow me for more tips. And you're going to feel like this is stupid. I promise you're going to be like, this is dumb. Why do I need to tell them to follow me? They know they'll follow me. If they want to know more, they'll follow me. No, I'm telling you, you have to tell them what to do. Okay? So tell them what to do next. The third piece, which is my absolute favorite piece of this funnel, is the connection. That's where the trust is built with your followers. Okay? So you've brought them in with your content. You've told them what to do. Now you're going to connect with them. Okay. I will tell you that the majority of when I'm converting people to sales is done in messages. Okay. And sorry, the dog's asleep and it's starting to bark over there, but it's like, we'll just not, it was a rough night last night. Anyway, so, so the thing is that many times people think, oh, Lori's too busy. She's got too many followers. Guess what I do? I voice message them. And they're like, what? She voice messaged me? I'm telling you, it's magic, okay? Voice messages, just like Jen said, pick up the phone and talk to them. You have to connect with them. And as soon as they're like, oh, she's invested in me, guess what? They're going to make the purchase. If they don't feel seen, heard, or believed, they're not going to make a purchase with you. Okay? So you absolutely have to find that you get really like for me, I get really curious. Like if I send them a message and they respond, I'm like, so tell me more about your skin. What's going on? What's been frustrating you? You know, get in that conversation with them. It's where the magic is. Okay, now let's get into a little bit of consistency because it's been really interesting for me over the years. I'm a very consistent person. Like I'm like, if I don't want to do it, I'm going to do it anyway. Because guess what? Consistency is where things happen. Consistency is where things build. It used to be, you guys, just so you know, it used to be you have to do like 3 videos a day, 3 posts a day. Guess what? Nobody can do that. I can't. It's exhausting to me. It becomes more of a job. And again, what happens when we become overwhelmed because we have to do more content, we're not going to show up at all. Okay, so keep it very, very simple. Now, what is your consistency may be different from my consistency. I'm not here to tell you you have to post 6 days a week. I'm not going to tell you that because guess what? That may not work for you. That may be too much for you. If your consistency is posting 2 or 3 times, post 2 or 3 times a week. Okay, I will tell you the more you show up in your stories, showing behind the scenes, okay, where people see you with no makeup on and the grandkids are running around and it's a disaster and you've got to do laundry and nobody's eating breakfast. Like that's where people connect with you and believe that you're a real person. Okay. So find that consistency. So, and again, keeping it simple enough that you're not having to make too many decisions, that you're just doing repetition. Okay. You're doing that 3-step funnel. Okay. So the last thing that I want to talk to you about, and then I'm going to move on because I can't wait for you to hear from Christy, is that you have to do your social media your way. You can't do it the way I do it. Okay. You're not going to do it the way Christy does it. You're not going to do it the way Abby does it. You have to do it your way. People are so good at calling out the bull crap. Okay. If you're not being you, they see it. They're not going to respond. Okay. So the goal here was not to overwhelm you. I hope I simplified it enough for you that you know these are your 3 steps. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it nice and simple. Because if you do it and it fits with your life, you're going to show up more. And that consistency is where the gold happens. Okay. And it's again, the people that started with me at the same time, they were so caught up in things being beautiful and pretty and things all had to match. And I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Guess what? Guess where I'm at and where they're at. They were very inconsistent, right? Guess where I'm at? I did it messy. I did it in my green sweatshirt every time. Like, it's fine. I just showed up, and that's where the magic happens. Okay. So I hope that this was helpful for you guys. I hope that you learned something. I can't wait for you to continue learning from some of these other people because in my opinion, I think Christy does social media way better than me. And I'm like, why is she not teaching social media? But guess what? This is what's so magical about us. We all have like different skill sets. I can't wait for you to hear from Christy. I'm going to pull up a little bit about her because I feel like, um, even though Christy and I, we've done some glow ups together where we live about 45 minutes apart, and we love each other. When we travel to these different things together, we're like, we can finish each other's sentences, and it's kind of weird, I have to say. It's really, really weird. And I'm like, if I can be as good as Christy,
Oh, stop.
I,
We're twins.
I am
Basically
winning.
twins.
I am winning. So just a little bit about Christy, okay, you guys, she's a leader and educator in the social selling space. If you don't follow her, you've got to go follow her. She left her corporate job at 2017, the same year I left mine.
Stop. See?
Mhm.
See? We're twins.
Seriously, seriously. I started social selling January 17th of 2017. I left my job in April.
Stop.
Like it's crazy. So, and she built a multiple six-figure businesses. She's known for helping women simplify social media, build belief, and create momentum without all the hustle and bustle that we like to do. She has a beautiful blended family. She's a grandma of six, and she teaches from real life. So, and not only that, but she hit team leader and director in like weeks. Okay, weeks. So, congratulations, Christy.
Oh,
I can't wait for you guys to hear from her. Hang on, you guys. Here comes some more firing. Have some fun and take lots of notes.
oh my gosh, Lori, I love you so much. Can you guys please give Lori some hearts in the comments, or if you guys know how to work the little emojis, go ahead and do that because that was spot on. Lori, solid. So I hope you guys took notes. So, and if you're not taking notes, now's the time. So grab a notebook, grab a pen. And again, you guys, Lori's strategies work, obviously. And I loved what she said, learn as you earn, do it messy. All of us did it so messy, especially at the very beginning. And it was like it's like riding a bike. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. Okay. So here's the truth that most people do not want to admit. You guys, even the best strategy, it sometimes feels hard when your belief is low. So I want to talk a little bit about belief. And I don't mean belief in the company. I don't even mean belief in the products. I mean belief in yourself. And what I see over and over and over is this. People aren't stuck because they don't know what to do. I think we all intuitively we know what to do, right? They're stuck because they don't feel clear enough to do it consistently. Like Lori pointed out, sometimes if we're thinking to ourselves that we need to post 3 reels a day, show up in our stories, right, and all the things, we're not going to be consistent. And usually that takes also a lot of clarity, right? And clarity doesn't come from more tips. And it doesn't come from saving more reels. I'm sure you guys go through and you watch all the reels and you're like, I'm going to do that one. 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 And you, before you know it, you've got like 100 reels saved and you haven't done one of them, right? It doesn't come from watching more training. That's not where it comes. Clarity, you guys, comes when belief is strong. So right now, I just want to know on a scale of 1 to 10, what belief do you have in yourself in doing a K-pop up? What belief do you have in yourself in showing up on social media? Because I'll tell you this, when belief is high, posting feels easier. It doesn't feel hard. Sharing feels natural, right? You stop overthinking every single word and rewriting it and rewriting it and rewriting it. And you don't spiral after every single post, okay? All right, so I'm looking at you guys right now. If you are not a 10, we're going to get you to a 10 after this call. Okay. So if you're a 3, if you're a 6, if you're a 7, my wish for you is that you will be a 10 after this call. Okay. I'll tell you what, and this is maybe how some of you guys are feeling. When belief is low, everything feels hard. Everything feels heavy. You second guess yourself, right? You stop and you start, or you quit, or you quit, or you disappear for a little bit, right? This is not a discipline issue. And I want to say it again, this is not a discipline issue. This is a belief issue. Okay. All right. So if you guys feel like you've been on this cycle, you can relate to the things that I'm saying. You're like, oh my gosh, yes, that's me. That's me. I just want you to know that you have got this. You've got every single thing inside of you to make this whatever it is that you want it to be. I want to share something personal with you because this is what clicked for me. When I started, you guys, I did not believe that I could do this. I had no idea how to work this type of a business at all. And all of us start the same. Okay. Not even a little, not even a little. I came from the corporate world. I worked in corporate. I went to a 9 to 5 every single day, got a paycheck every 2 weeks, right? That was what I knew. That was really it. So like Lori in 2017, I walked away from 18 years in the corporate world. Again, not understanding this industry. I was not confident at all. And I was very skeptical. Okay. I was so skeptical. So my belief was not 100% in anything. Okay. I was just like, okay, this is what landed in my lap. I really love these products. They've changed my skin. I owe it to at least a small group of people. I was really private about it. And I'm going to share with just a few people what I'm doing. Okay. So I shared a product, helped my skin with a few people that I trusted. That's it. That's what I did. My first paycheck was $78. I was very excited about that. And listen, I know that $78 is not life-changing money, but guess what it was? It was proof. It was proof that this was something and that it was real. And it was proof that I could do something with this. So I paid attention. And even as I was paying attention, I still didn't feel clear. Okay. I had some customers, and then those customers also started to join me. I had no idea what that even meant. And I had no idea what I was actually building. None. Okay. And I remember thinking and hearing about convention. And I was thinking, that's not for me. That's for people with big teams. That's for people with big dreams. That's for people who already know what they're doing. Okay. That was not me. I was happy that I made $78 and that I could just see that, okay, the more, if I share this with more people, I can make some more money. I didn't have the big dreams. I didn't even really know why it was that I was doing, other than I really love these products and I wanted to share them. Okay. I didn't feel ready. I did not feel qualified. Now, thank goodness I had a really great mentor. And if you guys know Kai Wynn, he was my mentor at the time. And he told me, you got to get to convention. And I trusted him. And so I went. And here's what happened in that room. I didn't walk in believing that I could do this. Absolutely not. I did not. Okay. I walked in, and guess what? I walked in borrowing belief from people who already were. I listened to their stories. I watched how they thought, and I saw what was actually possible for the first time. Okay. And that belief, borrowed at first, that's what gave me clarity. And I'm telling you guys, I was a completely different person after that. For the first time in this business, I was no longer guessing. I knew exactly what mattered. I knew what to focus on. And I also knew what not to stress about. Okay. That's when posting got easier. That's when sharing felt natural. That's when momentum started to show up. Not because I learned some secret algorithm, but because my belief was finally strong enough, you guys, to support the action. Okay. So if you're on the fence and you're thinking to yourself, I got to get to convention, you got to get to convention. If I saw 3s in your belief, I saw 6s and I saw 8s. And I'm telling you right now, you get to convention, you're a 20, you're 1,000. Okay. You are all in. Okay. So when people tell me, I overthink posting. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to start. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I feel awkward sharing. I hear it a lot. I don't hear a content problem. I hear a clarity problem. Okay. Because when you're clear, guess what? You don't need to be perfect. You don't even care. You don't need to go viral. Not your goal, right? You don't need to explain everything. All right. You just need to show up honestly and you just need to know this. Okay. And here's what the this is. This is big. Some of you guys joined me on Wednesday when I went live, and I promised you that I was going to share with you the viral formula. And I have never shared this before. I know Lori probably knows it, but I'm going to share with you today. So please grab a notebook, okay? Because this one you are going to want to write down, all of you, okay? Let me ask you this. What do you think is the one thing that every platform rewards? What do you think? Drop it in the chat. Most people guess the algorithms, right? Hashtags, trends, sharing, saves, right? Interaction, likes, right? Okay, there's one thing. There's only one. And it's the same thing for TikTok, for Instagram, for Facebook, for YouTube. For every single platform that's out there on social media, there is only one thing that you need: watch time. I want you guys to write that down. Watch time. Okay. And I'm going to break this down for you. Once you guys have this formula, you're going to crush it on social media. Okay. And then, of course, you've got that extra little clarity in there, which comes from belief. Watch out. Watch out, world. Okay. Because here you come. Okay. So I saw a lot of shares. I saw a lot of saves. The simplest way to earn watch time without trying to perform or anything like that is HEAT. Write that down. Okay. Give some space between each one. So H stands for hook. And I got a gift for you guys today. You're going to love this. Okay. So this is where you say the thing people are already thinking. Like Lori, I love what she said. She wrote down all of the things that people are wanting. And now she's going to be the problem solver to that thing, right? And so this is why Lori does so well on social media. So H stands for hook. Okay, so write that down. H stands for hook. You don't even have to worry, because the gift that I'm sharing with you guys is I'm giving you the top 50 plus viral hooks today. And you literally can copy them verbatim, and it will give you ideas of also what to post after that. People have an attention span of, I believe, 10 years ago, it was 6 seconds. I think it's 2 seconds now. And if you can't capture their attention within 2 seconds, gone, you've lost them. Okay, so this is why you're not succeeding on social media, is because you're not getting their attention within those first 2 seconds. Okay, so E stands for eliminate the lulls. If you're doing something that's a little bit longer, there better not be one lull in there. Okay, so the one thing that I have found with watch time is that you want to get people to stay till the end. You want to get people to watch the whole thing. So watch how this one product transforms my skin in less than 15 seconds. I'm watching. If Lori said to me with a hook, watch how this one product transforms my skin immediately, I'm watching, because I want to see all the way to the end, because I want to see her skin transformed at the very, very end. You guys, so you got to eliminate the lulls and get to it. Okay. Here's the hook. Here's what it's going to do. Can I eat a watermelon in one sitting? Watch me eat a watermelon in one sitting. I'm watching that video. I'm stopping and I'm watching the video. Okay. So eliminate the lulls. One idea is enough. If you're explaining everything, you're overcomplicating, like Lori said. So, which was so good. Okay. A is add a payoff. There has to be a payoff for them to watch. If you promise something and you don't deliver at the end, they're pissed. They're going to be like, I just wasted 2 minutes of my life watching that video. They're going to be mad. So you need to have a payoff at the end. How do you want them to feel after watching this? Do you want them to feel excited? Do you want them to feel right? And so whatever it might be. So clear scene, that's what you want. You want to be sure that they have a payoff at the very, very end. T is you want to tap into relatability. So this is where you want to be relatable. Okay. People don't share perfection. They share themselves. And the more real that you can get, the better you're going to be. Okay. And then you're just going to repeat that heat, that viral formula every single time you post. Okay. Every single time. You got it? Watch time. It's not shares. That is the result of watch time. Every platform. How can you get them to watch to the end? That is that's the question that you want to be asking yourself. Okay. All right. I'm going to pop the link to the 50 plus reels here after I get done speaking. So you guys, it'll be in the chat. It is only for those of you guys that showed up here today. So congratulations. You get it. You're going to love it. Okay. All right. So before we move on, I want to talk to you. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to put this into the chat right now, just so that it's there. Okay, go grab that, baby. That's yours. Okay, and you guys, honestly, that's 50 plus. I think there's actually almost 100 hooks in there. That will give you 100 real ideas if you take every single one of those, and then of course you're going to fill in the blank. Okay. All right. So get to convention. Like I really can't say it enough. Okay. It really puts you in the room where belief is reinforced. I am where I am today in my business because I attend events. I stay close to people that are having success and I borrow their belief until I can create my own. Okay. All right, I'm going to hand this over to Abby. I'm really excited for you guys to hear from this incredible lady. She's from Kansas City. She is a director here with Riemann. You guys, this woman builds with intention. She's a personality type that pays attention to details. This is one of the things that I've really loved about her. I love brainstorming with her. She's created a six-figure success in this industry. She's a mom. She's a wife. She has had to rebuild completely from the ground up. So if you're thinking to yourself, I got to start over, or I'm starting fresh, I'm starting new, Abby's done it. Okay. And more than anything, Abby leads with honesty and experience. And so I am going to bring this beautiful woman up. And Abby, I love you. I adore you. I love doing this business with you. You've helped me grow so much. And I've learned so much from you as well. And so thank you for just giving me a little bit more belief in this industry and all the things. And take it away, sister.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Christy. I loved that. Give Christy a big hand. Great minds think alike because as I was sitting here just kind of going over my notes, I went whoop, 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 whoop. So we were both going to kind of talk a little bit about convention. And I mean, Christy just dropped for you. I've never had this happen to me, by the way, but she just dropped pretty much everything that I wanted to say. And that's okay, because in this business, you have to pivot and to be adaptable. So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm just scratching the notes and I'm gonna rip this from my heart today. But I was thinking about people who I know personally who have showed up to convention when every obstacle was in their way. And, I come from a former company that was very manipulative, and very forceful, and it would kind of shame people for not showing up. And so I was in that for probably 11 years. So I have to be very careful with my language. You have to forgive my programming, but I want to convey to you that my belief is conventions and events are the lifeline of this business. I believe that people who come into this business and are excited and have big goals, we almost have about 8 months before they may quit. Average statistic with the average person, we don't get them into the environment. If we don't get them to sit around the campfire. And if you're taking notes, I just want you to draw 3 pillars on the piece of paper. And you may have heard this before, but don't just question it start with yourself. And then when you have teammates and you're trying to figure out what is it that's blocking them, go look at these 3 pillars and give yourself some direction for how to coach. You know, my background is I'm a collegiate basketball player, and I coached collegiate basketball. And now I have a 13-year-old daughter, and she has very big goals. And I have to be so careful based on my past not to drive her with where I want her to go, but to facilitate and meet her at her energy and at her desire. And I will move mountains for her. It is why I do this business, so I can afford every basketball tournament, every time she needs new shoes, every special trainer that she wants to work with. I do this business so I can be in the hotel room working the business and then get up to the tournament and be present. Like, I mean, that's just the coach in me. Like, I will move heaven and hell to get her where she wants to go if she's leading the charge. And I feel that way in my business with women who are showing up. And I'm just telling you from someone who's been in the industry for almost 20 years. As a leader, sometimes we are so overwhelmed with where to go and where to put our energy and who to lock in with. And just like behind the scenes, pulling the curtains back of the subconscious, am I going to work with the people moving heaven and earth to show up for themselves, or those who are sitting back? You know, and my biggest problem is I want to pull people sometimes. So if I come with a heavy hand, it's because of these stories that I've seen with people who showed up for themselves. I have had a man on my team sell a motorcycle to get to his first event. I have had a single mom do garage sale to get to her first event. I have had women scour their homes and go spend a month selling on Marketplace to get their first event. I shared my story in Team 1% yesterday. It was 19 minutes, but it was how I started in a trailer park and how I didn't have that growth mindset. I didn't have those thoughts of having an elevated life. I was very settled and how I grew up very happy. But when I got around other people, I realized I had the talent, skills, passion, and grit to take it further if I just put myself around the campfire with these types of people. It was like an elevation. And those happened at events. And so I just want to be, you know, crystal clear that my entire career, I've seen people overcome obstacles to get there. And where there's a will, there's a way. I have teams who were so poor that the leaders initiated that they would be fasting at the event. I remember offering to pay for some lunches because I knew this team was just getting started and they were coming from a very poor area. I knew they didn't have money, and I offered to pick up a lunch tab, and the leader said, "No, we're all fasting as a team." And he did that. They set that as a culture because they knew how many people they had struggling financially that had moved heaven and earth to be there together, and they were making a team thing of it. We're going to fast together and be mentally clear for this convention. But that's what they were doing to help support them. I remember those people having 8 people in a room to split the cost. I've seen people load up vans and drive 30 hours to an event. And I'm telling you right now, if there's obstacles in your way and you want to go, I want you to know that whatever obstacle you move to get yourself there will be your story, your testimony, and your proof for the next decade or however long you're with a company. If you don't move heaven and earth, have that story to someday share. I was a Dave Ramsey girl. I didn't have the money. I had been taught my whole life we don't do credit cards. I took out a credit card to get to my first event. That's my story. No one can ever take it away from me. And when someone gives me their objection, I practice empathy in my heart, but that is your objection, because I've seen objections crushed left and right where there's a spirit of tenacity and a will to win. And so, do you want to have a story? Do you want to speak from the heart? What did you do to make it happen? And then I hear people say all the time, well, I don't have very many people going. I don't have very many people going, or I don't have anyone going with me. Your business will stay at that level as long as your mindset does. You don't have people going with you because you're the one who needs to go and elevate your belief in yourself, in the company, in the product, in the industry. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. And you got to ask yourself honestly, do I like it? Do I like it? And maybe you've been to an event before and nothing shifted. But I'm telling you, there were huge shifts in my career on event 8, event 9. A company I was with for 10 years, we ran the same programming at the event, the same speakers, the same. Oh my gosh, I would start dreading it. I get anxiety about going in. It's the same. We're in the room 15 hours a day. It was like boot camp. It was like they were trying to break you down, and it was emotionally draining. And I kept going back year after year after year. And I still remember things that shifted my business after the 10th or 12th event I saw that was the exact same. You will get out of it what you need to get out of it. And it might be a hallway conversation that clicks for you. I remember my first event at Ramon. I remember coming from trauma. I would call that trauma with events. Just that manipulative, brainwashing, drink the Kool-Aid type feeling that I was carrying in my body. And I will never forget Sunday morning watching Jermaine and his wife on stage. And it just hit me like a ton of bricks. This is different. This feels like me. I feel aligned here. This feels professional. This feels classy. This feels like where I always wanted it to be. And I was like, I'm going to build here. Like, he didn't even know, like, that wasn't even the event. That wasn't even the conference. They were just welcoming us on Sunday morning. And there was a moment in that. And it was the moment I needed. The very last event we were at, I had gotten stale in my business. I had started working so hard in the business with management. I'd slid out of recruiting mode. I'd slid out of that, I call it D1 activity. It's like you need to stay in what the new person is doing. You gotta keep building. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep adding. And I had gotten just mediocre and was so busy in my business, but not working on my business. And it was nothing that was said on stage, but it was my competitive spirit where I got pissed. Just got mad at myself. And sometimes we go to get mad. Sometimes we go to get fired up. Sometimes we go to get a fire lit under us. And that's what happened for me. It was like, I just remember it was the feeling that it invoked in me that I was playing too small. And I went back to my hotel room on that Sunday and I closed the door for 2 hours. And I brought 4 women in on the highest builder pack in 2 hours in my hotel room on the phone. I hadn't recruited anyone like that in probably 6 or 7 months. What shifted? My energy. I picked up the energy in the room. I picked up the desire again. So I don't care how long you've been in the industry. I don't care how many events you've been to. You'll always go get something new that you need. And if you don't love where you're at, you got to go get poured into. You got to go find something new. Quit insanity. Running the same programming over and over again and expecting a new result. So if you want I don't care what the elevation is on me. Like, yeah, I've had some success, but if I am telling you the secrets to this business, it is you've got to stay around the campfire. How many of you have had friends like go take a trip together and then you feel completely cold and like you're not in that friend group anymore? Like, sorry if I pulled any middle school trauma up, but you know what I mean? You didn't get invited to the party and then you just feel like you're an outcast. Subconsciously, that happens when you can't get to the event. You feel like everybody level up and you just start slowly disseminating. You just start slowly pulling away. We don't want that for anyone, and we don't want to shame. And there are more important things in life than even your business. There are, and there are legitimate priorities that only you know. But there are also obstacles that you need to crush. There are blocks in your way that you need to push through. And I said this on the call yesterday. The resistance is what you'll receive before a breakthrough. Resistance is your power. Push through. Resistance is your power. Push through. Okay? You cannot get people to go with you if you don't go yourself. And maybe it's you can't get anyone to go with you this time. But if you don't have people yet with you, it's because you need to go. You need to go. The last thing I'm just going to say, I'm going to give you one little tidbit of training here. It is a technique. Write it down. I loved what Jen said. It's a little bit like that, but it's something you can repeat over and over again. And that is invite the method of inviting to recruit versus recruiting to invite. Know this line and think about it every time you do an event, whether it's a K-pop party or going into an event. Am I recruiting that person in, or should I be inviting that person in to recruit? If you have a party and you invite someone, don't stop there. Invite them to invite people. If you have invited someone brand new into this business, I think I have a brand new planner on here today. We're talking about who she can invite into the first event with her. People don't really, it's more people want to go with you as you're getting started, and they want to go with you to the top versus you go to the top and look down and say, hey, come on up. If you are brand new, get people to come with you on the journey and go together. Women love that. So we are not recruiting people. We're not inviting people to recruit them. We are recruiting people to invite others. So every time someone says yes to coming, you turn right around and see who they're going to invite. Because everybody gets a seat at the table here. We don't want anybody left out of this. Okay? So assess your pillars. What is it you need? You need more belief in network marketing. In 2030, the current value is forecasted at $328 billion. All right? Come get some belief in the industry that we have here. You need belief in the product? You probably don't. We love the product. The product's the best. You need belief in the company? Come look how it's done. Come look how it's done. We love our company. We love it. But like Christy said, you need belief in yourself, and belief is a muscle. It's a muscle. Just like you go to the weight room, you got to build it. And if you're sitting alone, you're not on the calls, you're not by the fire, you're not showing up at the events, you have no muscle. If you've been in the industry 10 years, you've got to keep building. It's going to deteriorate. You have to keep feeding your belief. Okay. So I hope to see you all there. Thank you for going with me on that little pivot. And I'm really excited to introduce the next woman to you. I remember sitting next to her at my very first event. Didn't know her at all, but I got to sit next to her for a whole event, and that was my first time I ever met her. But I'm going to introduce to you Tracy Zimmer, and she has been in the industry since 2012. You guys, she is the typical, I believe, like millionaire story where it's actually it's a teacher. Teachers are awesome at this business because they teach well, right? They replicate, they teach. And she started this as part-time, and now she's been out of what she'd call her job for over a decade. But guys, she is a mom of 2 young adults, 21 and 17. And she leads, she's our math teacher. Like, she's our comp plan guru. She's the one who takes complicated things and makes them simple. So I'm really excited that you get to hear from Tracy today.
Aw, Abby, thank you so very much for the kind introduction. And wow, what a powerful, powerful training you just gave us. I don't even want to call it a training. I want to call it a motivation. Like does anybody like have every little bit of hair on their body standing up? And like, I'm right now vibrating because I actually don't want to give my training. I just want I can't wait for conference. Like, I want to get to Long Beach. Like you said so many things that resonate with me that I felt too, that I would share those same things, but like, the belief is so, so, so important. So Abby, thank you so much for pouring into us and filling our cup. You filled my cup today. Thank you. Thank you. For every other speaker on here today, gosh, aren't they doing a good job? Give them some love in the chat. Oh my gosh, I'm seeing people going, this is the best training. This is the best training. I couldn't agree more. This is hands-on meat and potatoes. Okay. So, you heard Jermaine at the beginning say, let's open up our books like we're all brand new, right? And everybody that you heard from today and who you're going to hear from today was brand new at one time. You're hearing 20 years of experience, 13 years of experience, 15 years of experience. But at one time, we were all brand new. And maybe that's you. Maybe you are brand new. Maybe this is the first time you're doing something like this. Maybe this is your first week in the business, your first month in the business, right? So I'm going to take you down a little story and a little journey, and I'm going to go back 13 years ago when I was brand new. I was a teacher in the classroom teaching high school math, like Abby said. I had a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. My kids were little. And somebody had introduced this business model to me, knew nothing about it. I was like, are you kidding me? And she said, the person that introduced said, would you just get on a call with somebody and just take a listen? I really think you should. So I did that. So I want you to see what happened here and what she did and how she put me through this whole launch that I didn't even know was launching. Okay. So I got on a call with somebody who had been there longer than her, knew more than her, and it was an exciting call. I left that call going, geez, maybe this is something I should look at, even though I didn't think I would touch it with a 10-foot pole. And then I got on again because I had some more questions. And he talked about the power of getting started. I made the decision, I'm going to do this. Why not? Like, why not? And he talked about the power of products, getting products into your hands, what that's going to do for you, how it's going to increase your business, how it's going to make you go faster. I was coachable. I was going to be coachable. Got my kit, big package. I wanted all the stuff, and did that. Okay. Then he said to me, I want you to make a list. I want you to take a list of the people closest to you that you don't want to be left behind on an opportunity. And I want you to call them. That night, the night I signed up, I made a list. It was late, but I ended up calling 2 people. They got started both with, I need the products. I'm getting started with big kits. They need the power of the products. I got them also on a call with this person. What's happening? We're utilizing a support system, right? We're utilizing a support team member. We have people to do this. that can help us who have been here longer. We don't need to know it all, right? My products came. I knew nothing about the products, absolutely nothing. You've heard this many times throughout this call, right? You don't need to know it all. I did not know anything about the products other than a few things and the testimonials that I had been hearing. Called up some friends, come over. I need you to try these products. I need you to try these products. What happened? They loved the products. They wanted to order. I didn't even know how to put an order in. I had to call somebody and be like, how do I even put an order in? How does this work? I had no idea about the compensation plan. Okay. So those of you who are sitting there going like, I can't launch my business yet because I need to learn more about the products, right? We hear that often. I can't launch my business yet because I don't know enough about the company. I can't launch my business yet because I don't know enough about the compensation plan. I am here to tell you, you don't need to know anything. You really don't. Okay. We have tools to help. We have systems that help. We have calls to get people on. We have a product specialist, Angie. I still to this day, when I start a K-pop, I go, I am not your product expert. I'm not the ingredient specialist. I'm not the scientist behind these products. I am just here for you to experience and tell me what you think about our products. Okay. So again, here I am, week into the business, products just arrived, getting products on people. I get another phone call from him. He goes, listen, I know this is last minute, but next weekend there is a conference coming up. It's in the US. I'm in Canada. Okay. I'm a teacher. I'm working. He's like, you need to come in Thursday night. Well, I'm like, well, I can't get Friday off. Like, any teachers on the call? Like, it's hard to get a day off. It is really, really hard to get a day off, especially to go do something fun. It's hard. 4-year-old, 7-year-old, they had birthday parties, they had sport things going on. I had all the things. And then in my head, like we hear this all the time, right? I'm thinking, how much is this going to cost me to go? I mean, I just spent $2,000 on a kit. I don't have the money to go now to conference. What is even this conference? Why would I go? This doesn't even make sense, right? Very, very like I had all the reasons that I couldn't go. But when I talked to him, he had such a burning desire that I needed to do everything in my power, just like Abby just shared with us. I went to bed that night and I thought, I need to do everything in my power to get there. I don't know why. I asked a couple, I mean, I had a handful of team members at this time who signed up because they trusted me. And they were like, oh my gosh, no, I can't go. I can't spend more money to go. No, no, no. I made, long story short, in a nutshell, I decided I went by myself, no team members. I did not know a soul, not a soul. I had linked up with 4 other girls who needed roommates, 5 of us in a room. Okay. Never met them before, but I went. And I'll tell you what, that event changed my life for the next 13 years. And I can truly, honestly say that. Had I not gone, this would have gone, I'm not sure. I don't know what would have happened. But what I seen there and all the things that Abby just described, so I'm not going to say them all over again, but I heard stories of people and I sat in my chair going, if they can do it, I can do it. I slowly started learning about a little bit more about the product. Earn and learn. What a fabulous thing we can do in this business, right? I started learning a little bit more about the comp plan. And I came home with so much belief in what I was doing. Those next 12 months, I made my first 6-figure income inside this industry part-time while I was teaching. And I link that and give all the credit to my first conference. Okay. So again, I'm not going to go over all the reasons, but I want you to go back. And when I go back and I look at, when I'm taking you back 12 years, 13 years ago, is when we look at launching our business. I was launching my business hardly without even knowing. Third party was in use, right? I was utilizing third party because that's what the person that got me signed up did. I've got a list going. I picked up the phone. I started calling. I started inviting people over. I was launching. I was getting product on people, right? Social media wasn't really much of a thing back then. All the things, it was this wheelhouse of activity that was happening that I didn't even know. So there is signing up versus launching your business. The day you decide to launch your business, if you're kind of standing on your hands and you're like one toe in, one toe out, and you're giving the excuses in your head that I don't know enough or I need to wait until, the day you decide to launch your business is the day you're going to start to make money. Okay. Don't overthink. Don't overthink launching. You do not need to know everything. You've heard this so many times today. We keep it simple. Use the products yourself, right? Share the products. Invite others to take a look. We can send videos. We can send people to Angie, who's our product guru. We can send compensation videos that Tim Herr does, right? We have what we need to not know it all. In fact, I encourage you to not ever know it all, right? Or don't share that you know it all. So staying consistent, staying coachable, and staying connected. And I can look back 13 years ago, I was coachable. I listened to make the list, get the product, make the list, show it to people, share it with people, get to conference. That next conference, I brought people with me. I have yet to miss because it made such a change in my life. And if you're on the fence, I really, really hope that this is something that you decide to go to because, you know, again, these are where the stories are produced. This is where maybe your story begins, and it's going to be very, very exciting. So with that, I'm going to close and I'm going to bring on our next speaker and trainer who I absolutely adore, Brianna Michael. I know you guys have all seen her. She does so many incredible videos and Zooms and the opportunity overviews and all the things. She's out of Houston, Texas. She is a mom and a wife. And can you believe at one point she was shy? She had no confidence. In fact, when she started network marketing, it was like, well, I think 15 years ago, she almost quit after 2 weeks. And then she dove into personal development, right? She trusted the system that was in place. And here she is today, and she is changing so many people's lives. She is an absolute force. She's a beautiful soul. And Brianna, I'm so excited to hear from you today.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. Oh my goodness. I'm just honestly honored to be surrounded by so many incredible trainers and speakers and leaders and all of you who showed up on a Saturday. Like, congratulations to you guys for showing up. There's so many other things that you could be doing on your Saturday morning or afternoon, depending on where you are, but you chose to show up here. And that means something. And we don't take that for granted. And so I have to tell you that, when I got started, I tried to talk myself out of this business. I tried to talk myself out of success. When I know I've said this so many times on so many different trainings, but when I say that success is 80% mindset and 20% skill, that is a real thing. And so I tried to talk myself out of success so many different times. That's why I almost quit before I got started. And it was because somebody saw something a little bit special in me before I saw it in myself, that it gave me the courage to just take a step forward. It gave me the courage to go to my first event and to keep showing up to events. And it didn't happen overnight where where I started to build that confidence, but it happened layer by layer. And there was a time in my life where I was in a really dark place, where I was really stuck in my business. I was stuck in my personal life. I was stuck in my head. I was stuck in my marriage. There's so many different things. And sometimes when you are in a radical place, sometimes you have to make radical changes to get yourself out of that place. And that is when, I decided to go to a live event because I was determined to not stay there, because we're all going to fall. Like, life happens. We're all going to go through really hard times. We're all going to fall. But the question is, how long are you going to stay there? Because it's a choice and it's up to you. You can decide to get up, brush yourself off, and move on and let it mold you and shape you and turn you into a better person. Or you can choose to stay in that dark place. And I had hit a point where I was like, I'm done. I'm not going to wallow in it anymore. I had stayed in a place that was a dark place for a while. And all of a sudden it was like a flip switch. And I was like, okay, what can I do to pull myself out of this? So I'm going to share with you a tip that I paid several $1,000s to learn. I'm going to give it to you for free. And if you've heard it before, maybe you're here because you need to hear it again. And so I went to an event, and it was called Date with Destiny, and it was with Tony Robbins. And I heard something at that event that completely shifted my life and got me unstuck. And that's the thing, is you never know when going to a live event, you're going to hear that one thing that's going to completely change your life. And it's happened to me every live event I've gone to. They're like little wins that stack on top of each other. But at this particular event, what I heard was Tony was talking about something called the primary question. And the primary question is a question that we all ask ourselves every single day, but you don't even realize you're doing it. It's really interesting. It's just kind of sneaky, and it's sitting in the back of your mind, and it's like your subconscious kind of rolls with it. And most of the time, the question that we ask ourselves isn't necessarily a good thing. And so he started interviewing all of these different people, and he wanted to know, what's your question? What do you ask yourself? And what he found is that the question that most people ask themselves is pretty terrible and pretty negative. And so I was listening to this, and I was hearing all different kinds of questions, like, will I be alone forever? Will I ever find success? And I'm sitting there and I'm wondering, what is my question? And it was so weird. I couldn't think of anything. And if you've ever been to his events, they go till late. So I think we had left the event at 2 a.m. and we were walking back to the hotel. And I'll never forget this moment because it hit me so hard. But I remember standing on the sidewalk, and I just stopped, and I realized what the question was that I was asking myself every single day. And do I have your permission to be vulnerable? Because it's not easy to share like these personal moments. I hope I'm not alone on here, like with the negative self-talk, because the question that I had been asking myself every single day for as long as I can remember since I was a kid was, what's wrong with you? That was the question that I was asking. That was the terrible question. And, it's a funny thing about the mind, and I'm going to show you something in a minute that's going to prove this, but it's a funny thing about the mind where when you ask yourself a question, you send marching orders to your subconscious to figure out an answer to that question. So when I was asking myself this terrible, like hateful question of myself, I was going to find all the things that was wrong with me, which is probably why I tried to talk myself out of this industry and talk myself out of success and confidence. And so once I realized that, I knew I had to change it, and I had to start asking myself the right questions. And I'm going to tell you, it is freaking hard at first, because when you have a habit that you have been used to doing for decades or years, and please tell me I'm not alone. If you're brave enough, I would love to hear in the chat, what is your question? And some of you may not know what it is right away. Some of it, you may be thinking about this all day. You may wake up at 3 a.m. tonight and you're like, holy cow, that was my question. That's the question I asked myself. But if you're brave enough to share, it's hard to share it, but I'd love to hear it. But then you have to reframe it. You have to start asking new questions. And so I started asking myself new questions, like, how can I find more success today than I did yesterday? How can I love myself even more today than I did yesterday? How can I be even more present in this moment than I was before? I used to have an issue where I could never feel content where I was, because I was always wondering what was happening somewhere else. Has anybody ever felt that way? But what was interesting is all of a sudden I started feeling very content and very mindful and present in the moment when I started asking myself how I can be more present in this moment. How can I appreciate exactly where I am in this moment of time? And so when you start changing your questions, you're going to want to automatically revert back to your old questions or your old statements that you make about yourself. So I was in a radical place, so I had to go radical. Like, I put Post-it notes up all over my house. I must have looked like one of those hoarders, except with Post-it notes. And they were everywhere. They were on my mirror. They were in my bathroom. They were in the kitchen. They were on the fridge. They were on the cabinets. And so every time I passed by into a new room, I would read that new question. I would, for me, I would read that Bible scripture. I would read that statement, and I would replace the old questions that I had. And so after that event, after I changed my question, 6 months later, I hit the top rank in the company. I put my marriage back together, and I completely changed my mental state. So why? Why did that happen? That is not a coincidence, you guys, when I had been stuck for several years. I'm going to show you why, because at first when it happens, you don't really understand, why did that just happen, or why did that change? This is actually scientific, so I'm going to prove it to you. So neuroscientists, of course, study the brain like crazy, and they want to know, why do these little habits make such a big effect? Well, the thing is, your brain doesn't actually care if what you say is true. It doesn't matter if it's fact or fiction. It just believes whatever you repeat to yourself. It does not care if it's true. It just believes it if you say it. So what do? So every time you think, what's wrong with me? I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. I'm unlucky. I can't find success. Everyone else can do this and I can't. Your brain starts to fire these neurological pathways that start to form together. And when you repeat it enough, when you believe it enough, when you say it enough, those neurons start to form these strong pathways that start to carry out those marching orders. But when you change what you say, when you say, I will find a way, I'm improving every day, how can I find more success today? How can I love myself even more today? How can I be present in this moment? You will rewire those neurological pathways in your brain. You will find more strength. You will find more focus. You will have more confidence. You will attract like-minded people. You will grow your team. It's called neuroplasticity. I might be saying it wrong. I don't even care. I just know that this is a real thing. It's your brain's ability to reshape itself based on what you feed it. So if you are feeding it negativity and negative thoughts, it's going to breed that. It's like you reap what you sow. And this is not just thinking positive. This is physically reprogramming your mind to form those new pathways. So you have to filter every single thought that comes through your head. You have to stand guard at the door of your own mind. Otherwise, these thoughts are going to take over. And these are like marching orders. Okay. So this is why we say success happens twice. First, it happens in the mind, and then it happens in your actions. You have to picture it, you have to work it, you have to own it, you have to be careful at what you say, you have to filter everything that comes into your mind. And I'm going to prove it to you with this, okay? Whether you're a fan of this woman or not, it doesn't matter. Please get the message out of what she's saying.
Just getting underway nationally.
It's going to do, it'll do well.
And if it doesn't?
And if it doesn't, I will still do well. I will do well because I'm not defined by a show. You know, I think we are defined by the way we treat ourselves and the way we treat other people. You know, it would be wonderful to be, you know, acclaimed as this, you know, talk show host who's made it. That would be wonderful. But if that doesn't happen, there are, you know, other important things in my life.
Yeah, you guys, that was Oprah before Oprah became Oprah. Did you know that this woman had every single odd stacked against her since she was little? I think her mom was 13 years old when she got pregnant with her. Oprah was, you know, sexually abused. She grew up in a poor area, in a poor home. Everything against her, but she believed differently. It didn't matter if her show Oprah became successful or not, because she had already found success in her mind. So she knew it was going to happen with or without that show. And if you are somebody on here who's doubting yourself, doubting, your business, doubting your purpose in life, you need to get to the event the most. And just like, Tracy and Abby said, I mean, how brave of it was Tracy to show up alone in a room with 5 people that she didn't even know. But she knew she needed to be in the room, because you never know when those breakthrough moments are going to happen. I know I'm going to have a breakthrough moment at the event. And because I'm going to have those conversations in the hallway, I'm going to hear one thing that's going to change everything for me, because every event that I've ever attended has either added a rank or a 0 onto my paycheck. So if you're thinking about it, maybe you're on the fence, we'll figure it out. You guys, we'll figure out roommates, we'll figure out how to get you there, we'll figure out the hotels, we'll link arms with you. And we're also going to have some fun. So I get to share, now that I've beat up on you a little bit, showing you how powerful the mind is, because it is so important. I also get to share some fun upcoming events and promotions with you. So if you're going to the event, put me in the chat. And if you're thinking about going to the event, maybe you're on the fence and maybe you're just thinking, just maybe. Put maybe in the chat. One of us will reach out to you. We'll figure it out together. We'll figure out how to make it work, because it really is that important. This is a secret that if you want to know how top money earners, how leaders are successful in the business, the secret is getting to a live event at least once a quarter. Because all sales is the transfer of belief. So when you go to that event and you pull your energy up, when you bring your belief through the ceiling, that's what happens. That's the transfer of sales, is all about the transfer of belief. So you've got to get that energy and that belief up, just like Abby said. So here's what's happening on this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific time. That's going to be 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. You're going to get all the deets coming about the conference. They're going to talk about the agenda preview, special events that they're having. They're going to be talking about the speakers. They're going to be doing swag reveals. And I will tell you, there are a lot of really creative things happening at this event. So you do not want to miss this preview call, because this is going to break it down for you. And if you were on the fence, I can promise you, after hearing everything that they have coming at this event, you're going to want to do everything you can to get there. So put this on your calendar. This is happening this Wednesday, January 28th. And don't miss this. We'll have this posted in all of our groups so you can share this with your teams. Now, we're also having a neon party. Who's excited about this theme, you guys? I am actually really pumped about this. So we are going to have a best dress for this. So you go all out, get really creative. Like, what's your best neon K-beauty pop-up look? What's your best just neon 80s look? Whatever it is, it's all things neon. We are going to have DJ, dancing, light shows. We're going to have raffles and swag. We're going to have a 360 photo booth. We are going to have that best costume contest. So this is going to happen Saturday night at 8 p.m. Pacific time, because we'll all be in California. This is a Team 1% event. So this is just for Team 1%. So do everything you can to be in the room. I can promise you, you're going to have some conversations, some fun, some breakthroughs are going to happen in this room. So you don't want to miss this. And to add to even more excitement this week, we have a Valentine's Day promo that is happening this Monday at noon Pacific time. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. There's going to be a few different bundles. So you can see the 3 different bundles that they have. And you can see that, like, if you buy the collagen with the calming balance gel, the mist spray, you're going to get a free box of collagen with that. And you're also going to get a free red and white Remon gift bag. Now, you can see the middle one, there's an ICD bundle. There's also a makeup bundle. You can see the freebies that come with that. But what also you're getting with this is you're getting extra trip points. Okay, so the trip is about 75% full. So There's still time to run, but I can tell you a lot of people are on the verge to getting to that next tier. So you want to do everything you can to run to get on the trip by the end of this month. This is the last month to qualify. And when you promote these bundles, you're actually getting extra trip points. You're getting about 1.5 to 2.5 times more trip points with these bundles. And you also earn travel points based on your personal purchases made by your personally sponsored. So if you're their sponsor, and on purchases, oh, I'm sorry. So I said that wrong. Purchases made by your personally sponsored customers and purchases made by your personally sponsored planners. So people that you personally sponsored, if they're a planner or if they're a customer, you're going to get extra trip points, or your personal purchases. So you are not only getting trip points, but you're getting free products, the bundles, better pricing. So this is a really, really good deal. It's going to run through the end of the month. So definitely run with this. With that, I get the honor to pass it over to my incredible sponsor, Susan Manuello. Where is she? There she is. Hi. So Susan has had a fun week. I just have to share this. This is kind of a fun thing about her. She's actually been an alumni for the Denver Broncos. She was a cheerleader for them. So they actually brought the alumni back in. So she's been in cheerleading practice this week. I'm like, how fun is that? Last night I was like, LETSGO, let's go. And so she's been working on that this week. You guys, Susan has done it all. I call her my industry insider because she's always like, oh yeah, I know them, or I work there. Or we talked about the Denver Broncos cheerleader, but she's also worked on Red Bull circuits. She's traveled internationally. She was also Miss Colorado. She has competed in local pageants as well as international pageants. And she also owns a mortgage company. And so she's done all these things, but I share that with you to tell you that she obviously chooses to spend her time with Riemann when time is so valuable, because we see what's happening with K Beauty and the unique timing that we're in. We heard, oh shoot, who shared it? Abby shared it, that the network marketing industry is 328 billion. But if you actually think about it, in 2025, K Beauty was 15 billion, but they're projecting by the year 2030 that it will be $187 billion. So 187 billion in K Beauty, 328 billion in network marketing. I'm like, holy cow, when I put those two numbers together, talk about being at the right place in the right time. And so Susan is choosing to spend her time so wisely in this industry because she's always been in the right place at the right time. She sees the vision and she chooses to spend her time here. She's an incredible sponsor, incredible leader. So I'm going to pass it over to her.
Thank you so much. Amazing, Brianna Michael, for that incredible training. I'm always taking notes. And once again, you mentioned that maybe we've heard this before, but we're meant to hear it again. And so I just wanted to thank you for touching all of us with that incredible training. And thanks for my amazing introduction. I love you, and I read each other's minds a lot. And I had statistics ready to go. So it's awesome because you keyed it up perfectly. And it really speaks to, we really are in the right place at the right time. And there was a example of it last night. You mentioned that I've been practicing this week, and it has been so intense. We're getting ready for the AFC Championship game on Sunday. But it was so cool because I had something happen last night. We're standing in formation, and I'm face to face with a couple girls that are younger than me. And they asked me, they were like, Susan, your skin it's like glowing. And I said, oh, thank you. And they're like, what, why? And I said, it's K Beauty. And it was the first time that I realized, like, because they're not younger, like 20s, they're younger as like they're in their 40s. And they were like, ooh, really? I didn't have to get the question like, what is K Beauty? And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is why year over year, the statistic is that K Beauty has already been up by 37%. And that was such an example of it. It was like, her name's Sarah. She was already like key to, oh, wait a minute. So of course, guess who I'm sharing next with? And then the girls right next to her were like, K Beauty, wait, we've heard about K Beauty. And so they were asking me questions. So it's such a testament, you guys. This is the time. And what we're so excited about is this next announcement. US and Canada is seriously untouched. Like, again, group of girls, there's like 200 of us on the field. They don't even know how to get it. In fact, one of them said, I only know about people flying to Korea, getting products and bringing them back. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, I wanted to, of course, bring up my link right away, but we're holding a flag. So it's just so exciting. And that's why I want you guys to, not only, think about number one, getting to conventions. Like step one is getting to Long Beach, 100%. But you guys, we have an announcement coming right now that will create so much momentum. This is not about, traveling. This is about creating more momentum in your city or a city close to you to create more business, more team, more excitement. And Jen was talking about booking a party from a party, and you're going to want to do those parties as much as possible because we have some events that you can then build from those parties into events. And so I'm so excited to get to be the very first person to share with you guys what Team 1% has been cooking up behind the scenes. So I'm going to share my screen because we are taking this on the road. Who's excited? Put the claps in the chat if you're excited about this, because we are going to be coming to a city, hopefully near you. Okay, so dates are coming, but we wanted to get this out to you guys so that you know that we're going to be in Arizona. In fact, we're going to be in Phoenix. We're going to be in Vegas. We're going to be in Orlando. Houston, Texas. We've got the DMV area, which is Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia. We've got Salt Lake City, Utah on the map, Canada, of course, New England area, Irvine, California, because hello, we have our House of Remon in North America right there. And then we are planning for Chicago, not only North Chicago, but also Midwest Chicago. So are you guys excited about this? I know I'm excited about this. And one of the huge benefits to linking arms with all these incredible leaders and other directors and other team leaders and people that are in our network of our team is that you can safely start building your businesses, because whether or not you sit, like I sit in Denver, but I know people in Salt Lake, I know people in Phoenix, right? And when we have these events, you can safely build your business because they're in the hands of our team. You can send guests. They will be learning about the opportunity, learning about these incredible K Beauty products, the most authentic K Beauty products. And they will be able to hear these incredible testimonials and see how they can, link arms with Remon and you to build a business. So this is something that we have been very excited about launching, and it's coming. It's coming soon. So again, dates will be they will be out as soon as we have them. Obviously, as you guys can imagine, there's a lot of details. So as we gain those, we will be announcing more and more detail to each of you. So yeah, I can't wait for this. It's going to be a shift in all of our businesses. We've been talking so much today about how important it is to be in the seats, to have the hallway connections, not just to hear the content. The average person needs to hear the same message on average of 5 to 7 times. 5 to 7 times. So even if going to Long Beach, whoa, that's an explosion in your mind, then you bring more and more people in and invite them to these events, you're going to explode your business and explode your mindset. So with that, I am so excited that we also, coming from Mexico, we have Team 1% National Director, Mr. Tim Herr. He recorded an amazing message for all of us today. And so we are going to have him share this right now. And then we're going to have an amazing rest of our day. So thank you so much, everyone.
Hey, what an amazing training, right? I mean, we got the best of the best here, and that's what everybody is so excited about, and we're just having so much fun. But before we wrap up and we get a chance to hear from Jermaine Johnson, I know everybody right now, anytime Jermaine opens his mouth, I get fired up, right? He's just the most exciting guy, and he's going to be closing this out today. But real quickly, I just wanted to let everybody know right now, this is the time. This is the time right now where we want to make a decision in our mind. You know what? We want to make a decision in our heart to say, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to that convention. Nothing can stop me, right? I'm going to close out January big. And I'm not telling you right now, I'm going to be at that convention. Nothing can get in my way. When I first got started in this profession, right, I was 17. Many of you know, we didn't have the luxury of getting an airplane ticket. We literally, my group, we had a little group of guys. We got a U-Haul, threw a mattress in the back. Everybody jumped in. Right, sat in the back on the mattresses. We ate peanut butter and jelly, okay, for about 5 straight days, and we drove from California in a U-Haul all the way out to Dallas, because my mentor told me you got to be there. And when he said that, I said, nothing's going to stop me. Nothing's going to get in my way. And that first convention, we were sleeping in the U-Haul, and guess what? Right, eating peanut butter and jelly all the time. You know what? But we made it happen no matter what. I'm not telling anybody to go rent a U-Haul or eat peanut butter and jelly for 4 days, but you got to find a way to be able to be there, right? My mentor told me, says, Tim, you got to participate in your own rescue, right? Which means simply this, when you have your hands on something special like you and I've got, we've got to make sure that we do whatever it takes to get us to where we want to go. And I tell people right away, like, look, this is it. Like, you got to be at the convention, and I'm going to make sure no matter what that you get there, right? Let's figure this thing out. Let's do whatever it takes. And that's the attitude of success. I think everybody would agree. I don't think anybody would disagree. The people that make it happen are the ones that say, hey, look, you know what? I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to step up. I'm going to get the job done. So it's time for us right now to look in the mirror and make up our minds right now and say, look, this is your time. Look in the mirror and say, guess what, man? This is my time to make it happen. This is my time to step up. Nothing's going to stop me. You got to be thinking to yourself right now, nothing's going to get in my way. Over, under, or through. I'm going to the top of this company. I'm not just going to be a part of Remon, right? And that's what everybody is before they get to the convention. Once you go to the convention, Remon's in you, right? You are fired up. You're ready to go. And I'm telling you right now, you don't want to miss this event with the new product announcements coming out. There's so much excitement in the air about these new products. There's going to be some exciting things that are happening, right? A lot of people know right now that I've been begging Betty and Danny for the last, since last convention. I said, man, we got to open up that team leader training to senior managers. Right? We got to get the senior managers in there, because that's our future team leaders. That's our future directors. That's our future, senior national directors. We got to get those senior managers in there. So I've been begging them and begging them, begging them. And you're going to hear an announcement this week that something big is happening in regards to that. So I just want you to know, they were like, it's too, people have already got their tickets. I said, look, trust me, right? Trust me. You got to give people a chance, because you don't want a senior manager there. Get them in that training. Let's develop these leaders. And let's take these team leaders to director. Let's take these senior managers to team leader, and let's grow this thing together. So there's a lot of exciting things that are happening. Team leaders are bouncing off the walls right now, because they get to go to the party on Friday night. I'm telling you right now, if you're a team leader, right? If you're not the team leader yet, you still got time, right? Let's make a commitment. Let's go all out. Let's close out January big. Let's run our momentum all the way into February. You got to make up your mind right now to say, I'm going to the top, right? I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to step up. I'm going to get the job done. You got to be thinking to yourself right now, this is my time. This is my chance. And I'm just going to sit back and be a quiet member in the association. I'm going to get committed, and I'm going to go all out. And with that being said, you guys, I'm so fired up, ladies and gentlemen, to be able to obviously give everybody on this chance the opportunity to be able to hear from my favorite presenter in all of Remon, right? Jermaine Johnson. Every time this guy speaks, man, it gets me so fired up. I love this guy. And with that being said, I'm going to turn it over right now to my good friend, my business partner, and my brother from another mother, Mr. Jermaine Johnson. Mr. Jermaine, welcome to the call, and take it over from here, brother. Thank you, guys.
Wow, thank you, Tim. And thank all of you all. Look here. Look, 2 hours. Yeah, but what if these 2 hours could just change your life? 2 hours of just sacrifice to change the course of your destiny. This has been an amazing training, and I want to thank everybody from Singapore to Bermuda, from Norway to Thailand, being on this call 4 a.m. in the morning. Thank all of you all for your sacrifice, for investing within yourself these 2 hours to have, wow, from Leah on cold market, belly to belly, from Jen in the house and getting people paid, 122 system and back fat. I thought she was talking about back fat at first. I started to check my back fat. I didn't know what she was saying. And then Lori, oh my God, making social media simple. That was incredible. And then Christy, just the heat check alone, the HEAT, I mean, that is just going to explode people's business. Abby, that story on just story, sacrifice, and paying the price to get to convention. And Bree, what is your question? And yes, you said it right. Neuroplasticity. Yes, amazing. I mean, all of you. And then Susan, what's next? And she showed you what we're doing. And Tim, look here. I don't have a training. We're done. I'm just wrapping this all together, tying it in a bow. I even saw somebody in the chat say they're listening to this while working in the barn today, on the farm. Thank you all for showing up. And so with all of that said, Tim said it right now. Look, right now, you're in Ramon, but when you get to convention, Ramon is in you. I don't have time to tell story. When I went to my first one, though, I slept 8 men, big brothers in a room because we were all broke. I know people that sold their PlayStations to go to convention. They pawned their TV to go to convention. They sold their car. I know one guy that sold blood, and I don't like needles. He sold his blood to get to convention. Whatever it takes, guys. And look, it's so ironic that all of us are joined to Ramon by way of 1%. 1% is our parent organization. I want to encourage you before we get off of this call, make sure you get plugged in on the 1% Facebook group. Some of the forms that Leah shared, we're going to put them in the resource room. Set the alerts. All of these ladies and sheroes have been going live all week in 1%. You want to get plugged in, guys, because so many things are happening. And so look here. You know, it isn't a coincidence that we are 1%, all of these teams and organizations. And there was a book that came out called The 1% Rule. And it just talks about how dreams that we often try to build, we often try to build them on excitement. And excitement doesn't last. What lasts are systems. And you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. I'll say it again. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the levels of your systems. And you just got the systems from everybody on this call. And and to sum it up, we look forward to seeing you at convention. Because convention, what it does, in my opinion, you get the MIA to defeat MIA. You get the MIA to defeat the MIA. You get the motivation, the information, and associations to defeat you going missing in action. Y'all got that? So this is what you got to get to convention. In closing, as we go about our wonderful weekend, look, little Timmy, because of Tim, but it's not Tim Harris, little Timmy. Little Timmy, every night he used to fall out of bed and hurt himself. And he just kept falling out. He would bump his head. He would bruise his knee because he kept falling out of his bed day after day. And finally, the teachers in school, they began to recognize that Timmy just kept coming to school bruised up, battered, hurting. And they started to get concerned. What's going on? Is he being beat on? Because every day he comes to school with new scrapes and scars. So some of y'all, as you heard all of these testimonies, you've been through so much. Leah has scars. All of us have scars of past opportunities that we've tried. Abby was so transparent about her scars. Just like little Timmy, every night rolling out of bed, and his mama would every night go and put him back in. And he finally just came to his mother one night, said, Mommy, 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 I'm tired. I'm tired of falling out of bed. I'm tired of this. And so she finally took him into his room. She told him to get in the bed. And then she told him, slide in a little further. And then she said, no, slide in a little further. And she said, no, slide in a little further. And then she tucked him in. And Timmy slept all through the night. Woke up the next day, ran to his mom, said, Mommy, I slept the whole night peacefully. I feel good. I'm not hurting anymore. What did I do? What did you do? And she said, Timmy, this time you finally got all the way in the bed. Up until now, you were never all the way in the bed. See, right now you're in convention. A lot of you are brand new, but you got to get all the way in the bed. You got to get all the way in the bed. And the only way that you do that is for you to make the sacrifice and get to convention. After that, you'll be all the way in the bed. You'll be all the way in Vermont, and you won't hurt yourself anymore. You'll get all of your answers answered. You'll get the MIA so that you don't ever go MIA. I love you. God bless you. Take care. Take charge. We'll see you at the next Playbook event and at Long Beach. Y'all be blessed.
Recording stopped.